Hello, Shronkle Spurt here, and today we're having a good old squint at this wee pocket rocket, the OneXFly F1 Pro. Boasting some serious AMD performance, but still dinky enough to pack into your pants. Just about. Here's my unboxing and early review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now first of all, what do you get crammed into that box besides the OneXPlayer OneXFly F1 Pro? Well, you got yourself a dinky wee manual with the usual slightly shonky English translations, but you get the general gist. And you've also got yourself a dinky black box. And this simply contains the charging adapter and also the Type-C to Type-C threaded USB cable. And that's it, pretty straightforward stuff. Now, first thing I like about the OneXPlayer OneXFly F1 Pro is the pretty sleek design. Not the most exciting colour in the world, of course, just your bog standard black. But apparently there's also a limited edition bright red Evangelion model. But that's only available if you live in China. But still, the regular version, perfectly nice. You've got quite skinny bezels above and below that display. Just about managed to squeeze their brand in there. And of course, the thumbsticks have the obligatory glowing ring shenanigans. It's very much like my rectum after a particularly violent vindaloo. You've also got some funky pulse and light action in the actual hand grips as well, on both the left and the right edges, just in case, you forget the name of the thing that you're clutching. And you know what, considering the power packed in here, the F1 Pro is reasonably compact. It's certainly less of a heifer than the Ayaneo 3 and the good old Steam Deck, but still perfectly comfortable to clutch and game on for hours at a time, literally hours, because you've got that tactile grip action. Your fingers just neatly curl around. Although you can't actually snap off the controllers if you want to dock the OneXFly F1 Pro and use it connected up to your TV. Unlike the last OneXPlayer console that I reviewed. And it weighs just 599 grams as well, so again, pretty comfortable to clutch and hold for well over an hour during gaming. And I'm not exactly built like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, more like Dwayne friggin' Dibley. You've got a respectable selection of ports crammed on here as well. You've got a bit of Thunderbolt 4 action up top and down below as well. You've also actually got yourself a full-sized USB 3.2 port up top, as well as a headphone jack and a rather funkily shaped volume rocker and power button. And as you can see down below, a bit of micro SD memory card support. Yes, to boost the 1, 2 or 4 terabytes of PCIe 4 M2 SSD storage, depending on how much money you spunk it. Good old OneXPlayer. Now, like most gaming handhelds, the OneXFly F1 Pro sports a bit of Windows 11. There's bugger all fingerprint sensor or camera action on here, so you are signing in with a PIN or password every time, basically. You've got the usual OneX console shenanigans slapped on here, but as usual, proper buggy to the point where it doesn't actually often bother to run, just like it's not doing right now. And thankfully, the likes of Steam, the Epic Game Launcher, and Xbox Game Pass work absolutely fine, so you can quickly and easily install whatever titles you fancy. Now, once you're actually in a game, you can drag out the OneXPlayer sidebar like so. Just a quick and easy poke of this wee button right here. And as you can see, this offers fast and easy access to the likes of the performance settings, the fan mode, brightness levels, particularly handy when you're playing Avowed, which can be quite a murky game at times, as well as a whole bunch of toggles. You can tweak the resolution on the fly, toggle on the performance overlay if you're a bit of a stats nerd. You've got battery protection, you can toggle the gyroscope, you've got some other settings stuck away in here as well. It's certainly not as comprehensive as what you'll find on the likes of the Ayaneo 3, but it's got all the major stuff stashed away in there. And also helpfully gives you a quick glimpse of the remaining battery life, which you'll certainly be needing if you are running on battery power. But more on all of that shenanigans later. Anyway, finally dive on into a game and you'll begin to admire one of the best bits of the OneXFly F1 Pro, that stunning 7-inch OLED display. Of course, many rival handheld gaming consoles offer an IPS panel. This OLED tech spaffs out some beautiful scenes, gorgeous contrast, proper full-on blacks, and all at a stunning 1920 by 1080 pixel native resolution. Now, refresh rates up to 144 Hz are supported here on the OneXFly F1 Pro. Of course, good luck getting anywhere near that on the likes of good old Avowed here. As for the brightness levels, well, maxed out here on the OneXFly F1 Pro, you're not quite hitting 800 nits. So you can play outdoors as long as it's not too bright out and as long as you're not stumbling around caves or darker environments in the likes of Avowed. As you can see there, as soon as you get any kind of glare off that surface, good luck seeing what is going on. It actually has, by some miracle, been quite sunny here in Blighty this week, so I did take the F1 Pro outside, tried playing a bit of Avowed, gave up after about 30 seconds. But good news when it comes to the audio, because you've got some pretty beefy stereo speakers. They are housed at the bottom end of the console, sadly. They're not forward facing, so they don't blast that sound right at your mug, but they are beefy as anything. Let's max out the volume. Happily fill a small room with full-on sound. You know, those glorious nature sounds, the sploshing of water, the chirping of crickets, the dying of weird lizardy things. Oh Christ, not another bear. Sick of bears. But even when you max out that volume, the audio quality remains pretty strong. The clarity doesn't take much of a hit. Apparently these wee blasters are Harman certified, as in good old Harman Kardon. And of course you do have that headphone jack if you want to use a bit of that instead. And the actual controls themselves feel really good. As usual, you got the Hall effect triggers. Just gonna murder this git. Ah, go away! Not quite as many buttons as, again, you'll find on rivals like the Ayaneo 3. No macro buttons housed around back, for instance. Well, you can't customize the depth of those triggers. But the thumbsticks are pleasingly responsive. The D-pad and the face buttons all feel good. You naturally have a bit of select and start action, as well as shortcuts to drop back to the desktop at any moment, a button to yank out that old sidebar, and you've also got a button to bring up a virtual keyboard if you need one in-game. You could also get the Xbox sidebar to spring up at any point, with all your social shenanigans and even more controls. Now the OneXFly F1 Pro is powered by the beefy AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX 370, catchy title. It's a 12-core chipset that you'll probably see stuffed inside of quite a few premium gaming handhelds in 2025. Now I already gave this a thorough going over in my in-depth Ayaneo 3 review, and I was pleased with the performance that was spaffed out by that thing. And likewise, the OneXFly F1 Pro did not disappoint. My review model came with 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. You can upgrade that to 64 gigs if you fancy it, you got the spare cache. The F1 Pro does max out at 30 watts TDP performance, whereas the Ayaneo 3 did allow you to boost it up to 35 watts as long as the console was plugged in. But you got full fluid motion frame to support the likes of AMD Fidelity FX3 upscaling in titles like Avowed. And speaking of Avowed, that was the main game I used to test out the F1 Pro because I'm hopelessly addicted. I ran it at full HD resolution with ray tracing switched on and the high graphics settings. And the F1 Pro coped admirably. That Radeon 890M GPU didn't absolutely soil itself. I did notice the occasional wee dip in frame rate here and there, but typically the gameplay hovered just below 30 frames per second, even when things got proper mental. I'm talking a dozen skeleton trying their best to turn you into one of them. And even in the huge, lushly detailed outdoor environments, the frame rate typically stuck around 25 frames per second. As I say, with just the occasional wee noticeable judder. So yeah, if you want a gaming handheld to run the latest AAA titles, well, the F1 Pro will certainly baste your beef. As for the cooling setup, well, you can probably hear it's got a fan stuffed away inside, as you would expect. This just blasts the hot air mostly out of the top vent here, but also got a rear vent as well, thankfully all well away from your face and your fingers. This fan does its job admirably, and it's actually not too loud when you max it out as well. You certainly won't make any fans if the fan is blasting full pelt and you're sat on the sofa and your family or friends or next to you trying to watch the telly or something. But again, compared with some rivals like the Ayaneo 3, it's nowhere near as obnoxious. And an even better news seems to actually do its job admirably as well. In my lengthiest gaming session on the F1 Pro, it was probably about sort of 2 hours with it plugged in. The readouts were fine, didn't notice the console getting too hot to handle or anything, and certainly didn't notice any throttling in Avowed. But of course, as always with these Windows gaming handhelds, the battery life is proper cack. You've got a 48.5 watt-hour battery stuffed in this rather slenderish chassis. And certainly if you max out that performance, you can see that battery meter dropping at the rate of about 1% per minute. It's pretty standard, so yeah, about an hour and a half-ish is what you'll get out of games like Avowed. Of course, you drop the old TDP and everything, you'll notice that the battery life's a bit better, but not much, to be perfectly frank. But the good news is you've got 100-watt fast charging. So putting a cable in it, it doesn't actually take that long to power back up to full. And there you have it, my lovelies. That in a tasty wee nutshell is the fresh new OneXPlayer OneXFly F1 Pro. I did overall prefer the Ayaneo 3 because, of course, not only do you have the bonkers modular controls, but also more customizable on the whole, more settings you can dive into, tweakable triggers, etc. That said, the F1 Pro is a wee bit more compact, slightly more transportable, and of course you've got that gorgeous OLED display, which is a proper cracker. Be great to hear your thoughts on the OneXFly F1 Pro down in the comments below. Please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a rather ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!